Jewish folktale. King Solomon was known for his wisdom, but he couldn't figure out where to put the first temple. He thought about it. It should be built on love, built with care, echoing the ways that we can share, as though it were built by God's own hand, a place for every child, woman, and man. But where? Where? Well, Solomon's father was King David, and King David was the king who had fought Goliath and wrote all those beautiful sacred songs we find in the Psalms. And he had left Solomon land and palaces. Beautiful. Solomon traveled. Where can it be? Where should this temple be built? Built on love, built with care, echoing the ways that we can share, as though it were built by God's own hand, a place for every child, woman, and man. But where? He thought and traveled and thought and traveled, and he was back home in Jerusalem trying to sleep one night, and he could not sleep. So he got up and he left the palace very quietly. He did not want company. He just wanted to be by himself, to think where to put this temple. He walked down the streets of Jerusalem and on out of the town, up the side of Mount Moriah. It's a flat mount. Along the way, even in the dark, he could see that, well, the farmers had been harvesting, and they had gathered the wheat and tied it into sheaves, and you could see the sheaves there and there and there and there. He walked up the side of Mount Moriah and he got to the top, big empty space in the middle, and on one side over there was a farmer's field, and you could see the sheaves. And that side was another farmer's field. Peaceful up here. Maybe I'll find my answer. And then he saw someone over in that field over there. What's that person doing? Whoa. It looks like he's taking one of the sheaves. A thief? This is terrible. Right outside of Jerusalem, there's a thief stealing sheaves. Those farmers work so hard. And the man took the sheaf, went across the field, and on the other farmer's field, put the sheaf there, and came back and got another, and took it back across, and came back and got another and took it back across. And Solomon watched. Maybe I should stop him. No, I won't stop him. Let me step back and watch and think. Tomorrow will be soon enough. And he counted. And the thief had moved 50 sheaves of wheat across to the other field, and then quickly ran off. I don't know. I'll talk to him in the morning. I know where he comes from. But just then, he saw someone in that other field, the one where the sheaves had all been taken. Look at that. Wait a minute. What's this person doing? He's picking up a sheaf and carrying it across and putting it back in the field where it was? That is crazy. Repaying the thief for the thief. There he goes again, and again, and again. 50 sheaves carried back across. And then that thief left. This is quite a mystery. The next morning, Solomon called in some guards and sent them out to get these 2 farmers who he had watched stealing the night before. When the guards came back, he told them, well, only bring in one at a time. I don't want them to hear each other. So he brought in the one. They brought in the one. And he said, Solomon said, we don't like thieves around here. And last night I watched you take sheaves of wheat across the field, one after another, 50 sheaves. How dare you do that? And the man said, oh, King Solomon, you were there? No. I am not a thief. I am not a thief, King. I am not a thief. You just don't understand. And King Solomon said, well, I understand when I see someone taking from a field hard work. No. Listen, that was my field. That's my field. You see, when our father passed away, my brother and I were given these fields. My brother's field is across the way. He's younger, and he has a big family. I live by myself. And I thought, he needs a little extra. So I took 50 of my sheaves and put them in his field because he would never accept them from me. He would not have taken it. If I'd offered, he'd say, no, I don't need them. But I know he does. And so that's why I left it. And the king said, I'm glad I waited. Thank you. That was a kind thing. Will you go out now? I need to speak with someone else. And so the older brother went out. And they brought in the younger brother, and King Solomon looked at the younger brother and said, we do not like thieves around here. I watched you last night move 50 sheaves from one field to another. What in the world did you think you were doing? And the younger brother said, oh, King Solomon, I'm not a thief. I'm not a thief at all. You see, my older brother, well, he lives alone. He doesn't have the help. He doesn't have the joy of a family. And I thought, he could use a little extra wheat. It would make his life nicer, and he would never accept it from me in a million years. So you see, King, last night I was giving him some of my wheat, 50 sheaves. I thought it would make his life better. King Solomon stopped. Wait, I hear you. Love is in that land that you two share. Your love for each other, your compassion and kindness and care. Bring in the other brother. The older brother came in. They looked at each other. King Solomon looked at the 2 brothers and said, do you know, each of you tried to give the other 50 sheaves of wheat last night. I watched. That kind of love shown on that kind of land makes me think that this land would be the perfect place to build the first temple. Built on love, built with care. Would you sell your land to me? We want to build the first temple on that land. The 2 brothers were proud and they said, oh yes. And the king said, now we can build the first temple. It will be built on love, built with care, echoing the ways that we can share, as though it were built by God's own hand, a place for every child, woman, and man. And the first temple was built, and that's the story.